President Biden will unveil his new budget proposal in Philadelphia Thursday. Part of the budget includes increasing the Medicare payroll tax on individuals earning more than $400,000 a year. Mr. Biden is also calling for higher taxes on billionaires. Joining us now is Jeff Stein. He's a White House economics reporter for the Washington Post. Jeff, remind us of the fiscal health of Medicare right now, and how does President Biden hope to make that health better?
So right now, Medicare is staring at a huge crisis. We have obviously an aging country, and the cost of healthcare has gone up. And so the initial structure for Medicare, as it was set up decades ago, is not, it doesn't fit with the current population size and the current amount of healthcare spending we have. And so we have just 5 years until 2028 to avert massive automatic cuts to Medicare, in which millions of seniors, 60 million seniors currently depend on the program. They could see a reduction in care. Hospitals could start turning them away, and just only 5 years until that moment comes. And so the White House is saying, let's get ahead of this. Let's pass these tax hikes that we proposed to deal with this.
And it's often said about presidents' budgets that they arrive in Congress dead on arrival because Congress has its own ideas about things. What are the Republicans in the House? Have they said anything about either Medicare or really any specifics on the budget yet so far?
Yeah, it's kind of a mess. The House Republicans are right now in the process of trying to figure out what they're going to say on the budget. They've called for a series of demands that are really sort of arithmetically incompatible with one another. On Medicare and Social Security, they have for years, and really this year too, considered plans that would cut benefits, raising the retirement age for Social Security and reducing Medicare payments. But they've backed away from that amid a fusillade and really a fierce attack from the White House. And so what they're trying to do instead is see if they can cap the growth in domestic discretionary spending, other programs that are not relied on by tens of millions of seniors. But we'll see if they can balance that with their simultaneous demand and promise to balance the budget in 10 years. These are going to be really hard things to see. And the fact that the White House budget expected tomorrow is so far away from what Republicans are simultaneously talking about on the Hill really suggests that both parties are going to have a really tough time getting to a resolution on the debt limit. Much less the government appropriations fights.
Well, thank you for providing me with that transition to the debt limit, because what we've been talking about is the regular budgeting process, even though it's often passed in an irregular way. Update us on where things stand on the debt ceiling, which is an entirely sort of separate negotiating, although obviously they're related.
Yeah, it's one of the weirdest stories to cover because it's incredibly important and could have catastrophic impacts for millions of people, and yet every day that we report on it, nothing really seems to be happening. There is no real news on it. There are no negotiations. Congress has until sometime this summer, we don't have a precise date, probably sometime a little after June, to raise the nation's borrowing limit. We've already hit the debt limit, and so Treasury is doing what are called extraordinary measures to basically allow us to fund our obligations. But we have passed the point or hit the point at which we cannot borrow anymore, even though Congress has simultaneously told the Treasury Department and the U.S. government to spend and collect tax revenue that require us to borrow more. So these are these two incompatible laws that Congress has passed and that we have only a few months really to take care of, and without which a resolution on we could have the first ever default in the U.S. Debt payments, which would mean that potentially we would have a Wall Street panic in which bondholders are not repaid, Social Security payments don't get made, Medicare payments don't get made. And so there's a lot in the fiscal space that's very concerning, and the White House budget really serves to highlight just how far we are away from a resolution on any of these questions.
And finally, Jeff, tomorrow when the president unveils his budget, is there anything else in it you would highlight that we should pay attention or keep our eye on?
One thing I've been interested in is that, I covered very closely the negotiations on the Build Back Better agenda. Most of Biden's plans really for a new deal or a new great society were killed off by Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, the centrist Democrats who've gotten in the way of a lot of Biden's ambitions. My understanding from White House sources is that those provisions, many of those provisions at least, will form a key part of the budget. This is kind of a sign that Biden plans to run on these expansive policies, this idea that will transform the nation's healthcare and housing and early childhood education programs and systems. And I think that's really interesting because it shows that the White House, despite inflation and despite some of the skittishness and the blowback they've gotten from the center and the right, is really committed, at least rhetorically, to making sure that they're on the side of these big transformative programs, government programs that will really reach into people's lives and affect them in big ways.
That's a great insight. Jeff, thank you so much for being with us. Jeff Stein.
Thanks for having me.